Meanwhile, if you work for the state of Tennessee and you smoke, get ready to pay. That's because Tennessee is joining Georgia, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Alabama in imposing surcharges on people who light up while enrolled in state health insurance programs. The states say it's the only way to both curb smoking and rein in skyrocketing health care costs. But doesn't it unfairly target people who smoke? Robert Levy is a constitutional law expert and chairman of the Cato Institute. He joins us today from Naples. I'm a little jealous about that. And joining us on the phone right now, Russell Chandra, the director of the Center for a Tobacco-Free New York. Russell, I'm going to start with you. Why do you think this is a good idea? Tennessee's going to start charging employees $50 a month if you smoke. Russell.
Well, I understand where they're coming from in Tennessee. The extra costs that smokers impose on a health system are really huge. Easily more than $1 million a year for every 10,000 smokers. So reducing the number of smokers, let me just cite a couple of statistics. Smokers are 63% more likely to be admitted to a hospital. And when they're admitted to the hospital, they stay 28% longer. So they really are imposing huge costs.
Sure.
Now, that said, I actually think that this is misguided. I don't like the idea of basically making people choose whether to have their health insurance or not. I think they're going in the wrong direction there.
All right, Robert, let's have you weigh in. Why do you think that this is not a good idea, what the state of Tennessee is about to do to state employees?
And this law is a return to the sort of pre-modern superstition that ordinary men and women are too stupid, or they're too weak-willed, or they're too bamboozled by the cigarette companies to be trusted with personal freedom. After all, when we have government making decisions for us about smoking, it's just a short step to where they're making decisions about what foods we eat, what kind of jobs we have, whether we go motorcycle riding or skiing. These are all high-risk activities that lead to higher health costs. We don't need government making that decision for us.
Yeah, Russell, Robert makes a good point. You know, we hate we all want to be healthier. And we all want to save money, but at the same time, where do you draw the line? Where does the nanny state suddenly become your state?
Well, I would say that the difference between smoking and all the other activities is just so great that I do think it calls for.
Russell, it's not that great regarding overeating. When you look at obesity and the costs related to that as opposed to smoking, they are also large.
They're large, but they're not nearly as large. You know, smoking is just on a whole other plane from all other types of health behaviors in terms of the burden that it imposes.
Okay.
So
the state of Tennessee has already had 2 bites at that apple.
Okay, Robert, I'm going to give you the final word. Go ahead.
The state of Tennessee has already had 2 bites at that apple. They collect an enormous amount of money in cigarette excise taxes, presumably for the purpose of reimbursing health care costs. And in 1998, there was a huge settlement, $246 billion. That's $250 billion divided between the states coming from the big tobacco companies. Again, the purpose was to reimburse for health care costs. How many times is the state going to return? How many times is the state going to return to that same well?
Yeah, it's crazy. And as Russell pointed out, misguided perhaps in the fact that some families would have to choose between having health insurance and not. All right, Russell and Robert, we thank you both for getting up so early on this Friday morning to talk about Tennessee. Thanks,
Pleasure
guys.
to be here.